Ramble.
Thank you to Rosetta Stone for sponsoring today's episode. Bloodsucker fame fucker, welcome to Guilty Pleasures.
Okay, that was a good choice.
Yeah, that's good.
We are here. We're ready to talk about Olivia Rodrigo's sophomore album, Guts. And joining us in the studio, we have the very one and only Sequoia Holmes.
Who is now a professional music podcaster after having the Paramore, Hayley Williams, on her podcast. Black people love Paramore.
It was very sick.
It was a huge fucking deal.
And it felt, obviously, young Olivia grew up loving Paramore.
Yeah.
Paramore.
I like Paramore.
Yeah.
Paramore.
Yeah.
I want to just actually start with a little beef.
Uh-oh.
Because this morning, Kelsey said, she texted our group thread and said, can we have Sequoia on the pod? Which, love that idea.
Yeah.
She said, and I quote, I need someone who gets it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was not about to come here and defend this album,
Which
as
is
the
like
greatest.
It's almost as if you don't know us at all.
I don't trust
It's-
you two with the hormones of a teenage woman.
That's very fair, but we are still observant and can relate to certain.
Do you see this cell phone in my hand? The phone case that I have had for 2 years, a worn to death Olivia Rodrigo phone case. Get on my fucking level,
It's
bro.
very cute. Okay, Zachary,
Wow.
it's very cute that you are a fake fan. Because, and I do quote from our text group thread, he hadn't even listened to the album all the way through.
Because, okay, you want to fucking
boy.
go.
You wanna go? You wanna
this is-
go?
This is great.
Beef.
This
It's
is
hot.
great. I
It's
love
warm
this.
in
This
here.
is
I'm
good.
gonna
It's
spill-
just like an Olivia Rodrigo song.
I'm feeling pretty fucking
it's
sour.
like Grudge.
I hadn't listened to the album yet because I wanted a time where I could sit down, turn the fucking lights off, listen to it from start to finish without any interruptions.
That
Yeah.
wanted to cry.
That's the story.
And
That's
every
fair.
time I tried to listen to this album, I was in the car and we were picking someone up and people were trying to talk and I'm like, I'm not doing this. I don't want to listen to the album as a second activity. I want to listen to it. So yeah, we're about, in the time of recording this, it's just under a week since the album came out. And I didn't have a chance and to have a sacred experience. But we decided to record it for this episode and I said, Maggie, hold my calls.
Oh my God. I thought you were going to say,
realized that-
Maggie, shut the fuck up.
This just means that I am, you just made me realize how lonely I am because I have listened to this album at least 8 times all the way through and can sing every single song. And I wasn't like, oh my God, I'm a real fan. I'm so fucking, I just am alone a lot.
You just did it.
I have the time to listen to these lyrics, to Google them, to hear fan theories. Like this, although Olivia herself, I don't know much about, I don't know like her background. Sour got me through my breakup last year, even though I was like 3 years late. I remember hearing Sour and going, damn, I wish I was going through a breakup so I could really appreciate this.
And then you broke up with someone so you could really appreciate
boy, oh
it.
boy,
Yeah.
be careful what you wish for.
Damn,
so the fact
damn.
that Guts is this like self-discovery, more rocky, a little bit more in her element and fun album to scream to,
It's
I
better.
felt like I finally got it
Yeah.
when it was meant to be.
Yeah, so
definitely.
we like seeing her talk about the fact that she likes Rage Against the Machine right now, and I was like, oh fuck yes, I think I'm gonna like this album. And then I listened to it on the way here, which is not the best, but
That's why Sequoia's here.
yeah, because I only listened to it one time and not like 8 times through.
I listened to it 4 times in the last like 4 hours.
Thank you.
I definitely just.
I also
ran it.
texted Sequoia the day I think Vampire dropped or Bad Idea dropped and was like, does your brain feel like on fire the way mine does?
Are you having the same experience? Yeah.
Yeah.
I definitely did.
I think I heard you say this just quietly while Kelsey was talking. Do you think this is a better album?
I do.
Wow. Yeah, that's huge.
I think it's not even close, honestly.
even close?
I don't
Oh,
even
God.
think it's close.
Sequoia's
Yeah.
also
me more.
wearing a hat.
I
right
really
now.
wanted to like Sour. We see I have the Sour merch on
brutal.
here. I
It's
really wanted to like Sour. And I didn't dislike it, but I did not love it. I felt like I was sold teen angst and given teen crooning more, which is fine. Like, she's good at singing and making music overall. But this is angsty.
Yeah.
This one's
is
like
rough.
teen angst. Even the slower paced songs are angsty,
Yeah.
except for one, which we'll talk about.
Yeah.
But yeah, me and Zach talked about it a little bit. But yeah.
Often in music you hear the sophomore slump following up
Yeah.
an album, especially if you come out of the gate, you have your big hit, it's really hard to follow that up. You know, are you getting pigeonholed to doing the same sound again? Can you catch that lightning in a bottle? Can you honor what people liked about you while still evolving on your sound? It is the ultimate pitfall in music. And I think it happens in other art as well, but really traditionally you see it happen a lot in music. And so there was a lot of fear going into this album. Could our beloved Olivia,
our sweet baby Olivia.
our sweet baby girl,
She's a 20-year-old now. She's no longer our baby.
she'll always be my baby.
Definitely.
I remember when you were just a wee little girl. So Kelsey threw down the gauntlet right before we started recording.
Oh,
she
God,
said,
okay.
I would like to speak through every single song on the album.
Happily.
That is not something we traditionally do, but we're going to
It's
try
a short
our
album though,
darndest.
so we
It
can
is
just
short.
kind of just run through every song. That's fine.
I
right?
guess
It's
so.
still 12 songs. It's not
It's
like
12 songs.
it's just short songs,
Yeah.
but it's 12 songs.
Yeah, I mean, just to, I guess, close the loop on Sour verse Guts, which I don't think it is a verse, but Sour definitely, at least on first listens to me, has a lot more standout singles, right? It's an album of radio hits.
Okay. Yeah.
Whereas this feels like, in many ways, she's maturing her sound. She's trying different things while still, again, as I said, honoring that angst sound. And it's angrier. And what I really like about the character that she presents, like the character of Olivia in this album, is a mess.
Oh,
She is a
she's
messy,
so raw.
Is a
sloppy,
mess.
self-sabotaging, wounded person. And I like that compared to the first album, which was all you fucked me. Like you are the enemy, which I think, we all needed at that moment.
Yeah.
This one is more, I am my worst enemy and I'm owning it.
Which is really mature of her.
I know my age and I act
20.
like
Yeah,
it, she said.
She did say that.
That's
It's
very cool.
so real.
And
Yeah.
like what was the last on the last song where
Teenage
she was talking
Dream?
about and she wants to be
When-
doesn't want to be wise for her age anymore.
Yeah.
She just
Yeah,
wants
she
to
was
be
She's
wise.
worried
That's
that
my
they've already
jam.
gotten the best of her.
Yeah.
She's so self-reflective
Yeah.
in this.
It
And
is.
it's
Which is-
so much fun. Like, you're right that Sour was a little bit more, as much as this has these like gutty ballads,
Yeah.
I feel like they're still fun, and she's trying new things. She's hearing, like, she's sounding different, and
Yeah.
she's leaning into this new actualized version,
Yeah.
which by being actualized, she's saying, I know nothing. Still.
This was the first project that I've heard from someone in Gen Z where I was like, okay, you guys are going the correct route.
You're okay.
You're bringing it back to the early 2000s rock, or like maybe, I don't know, maybe 90s. I don't know. I'm not sure.
2000s emo.
2000s emo stuff. And I was like, oh, this reminds me of high school. It reminds me of the types of movies that were paired with this soundtrack, like
Bro.
the teenage films and all of that stuff. And that it felt safe. Like, I was like, I know where a lot of these things are going to go for me, like, personally.
Wow.
Rainie,
See,
let's get a taste of the first song, which is maybe my favorite song of the album, All American Bitch. I'm light as a
Yes.
feather,
Okay.
stiff as a
Yeah.
board. I pay attention to the things that most people ignore.
don't, Zach.
I mean, we'll talk about this more, but between the first and last song in the album, there is another album that I want to see from her. It's a real reflection on modern femininity and what it means to be a young woman. There's a lot of really apt observations.
She gives a lot of very specific to Olivia as an artist lines that somehow are universal.
Yeah, the angst is there and all of that stuff. But even when Driver's License came out and everybody was like, oh, I think this young woman is a phenomenal songwriter and like probably one of the best that we've had
In a
one of the
while.
best new
Yeah.
songwriters we've had in a while. And usually when you get into like rock ballads and whatnot, you don't get a lot of like crazy lyricism.
No.
You get like a lot of like front-facing
Yes.
guitar and all that stuff, which is always fantastic. That's what made me fall in love with it in the first place. But she really does show off her lyricism.
Poetry.
It's all poetry in most of these
People-
songs.
People want to, I think that's why people were saying, is she going to have as good of an album as Sour, or was that like a one-time thing? Was that just, the curse?
Right.
But people don't want to give her credit for how amazing of a lyricist she is because she's a woman and because of her age.
No, she's fantastic.
Yeah.
And
she's
we
great
don't
at
it. But, like,
equate
also-
like youth with understanding and being able to possibly condense these big emotional things that happen in your life down to something as poetic and catchy as what she's able to do, which is what I appreciate about people recognizing how talented she actually is.
And for me, like, the first album is your life's work. Anybody's first albums, like, I've been working on this theme, these lyrics. This is my best 15 songs I've ever written in my life. And then your second album's like, this is the best songs I come up with in the last year or two.
Right.
But she killed it. So that tells me that she's actually a very talented songwriter and not just like someone who whole life is just in the first album and you know you can't reproduce in the second time.
This is my theory on this. Like, because she's coming from acting, like she kind of like got plucked out from that. Was it technically Disney Girl?
I think she was on Bizarre, which was actually on Disney XD, if I'm not mistaken. Okay. And then she was on High School Musical, the musical, the series.
Okay. So like when you did, like, technically did Disney, and like when you take one of those kids from there and just like, hey, you got to make an album. It's just like, okay, so I haven't been thinking about this for my life, you know, or for my entire life. And so she was just like, all right, like, give me like 2 years, I'll come out with something. And then she did, and she killed it. And you're like, okay, well, next thing, what else do you have? And then she had the same amount of time, the same time period. So like the idea that it is her entire life's work in this album, in this first album, maybe not. I'm not sure, but I do feel like when you give someone that amount of constraint and that amount of like time, which is like really low, and they come out with like a banger of a project, that's just talent. That's just pure and raw talent. Like,
she gives me musician first. Before actress. Yeah. She's a good actress. I watched. She's good, but she gives me musician first.
Who doesn't love saying bitch in like a song?
Starting off with bitch
like
is
she
so
teases
fun.
the lyric
before she
American.
And I'm like,
and she
Olivia.
cusses a lot.
Yeah.
We've been seeing that with a lot of like female songwriters, artists, which I'm glad we're just like allowing them to be fucking like. Grrr.
It wasn't always like that.
No.
Like, I don't think people realize it was not always like that.
No, people didn't want their teenage girls to grow up.
People didn't want their young girls to curse. It was like not feminine, and it was the whole thing. Beyonce did not curse for a very long time.
Crazy.
Before, like, she only recently started cursing when she was an adult for real. And then like, just think about like Hayley Williams' intro to the world, kind of on a more Christian note. It just wasn't a thing.
Yeah, I love that. She named the first one, her first song on the album, All American Bitch.
I love it so much.
Yeah, like, what can you guys say about her that she's not saying about herself in this album, right? Like, she's like, try me. I know.
On the note of production, I think one of the best things that ever happened to Olivia is teaming up with producer Dan Nigro. He was an indie musician. He was in this band called As Tall as Lions, which my college roommate, shout out Pat, was obsessed with this band. And so now, 10 years later, to see him making these top 40 radio hits is such a mind fuck for me. But he like clearly, I don't know, was able to harness this sound and this talent, and I don't fully know how their collaboration worked out, but I know she has talked about how instrumental he is into building this sound with her, and I'm just fucking thrilled. It's very cool to see talented people get second life in unexpected projects.
Good for him for getting it, like getting the teen angst of it all, because if he was producing indie for like, the last 10 years, that means he's definitely a little older.
Yeah, for sure.
He really got it.
He is a man in his mid-40s.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, great.
Working with Olivia Rodrigo to make the greatest teen bedroom angst pop rock of all time.
Also for 33-year-old women.
Also for 33-year-old teenagers.
It is very, very like jumping on the bed, letting your hair like kind of like run around.
It really
type of song.
I've been in my car, like not tinted enough windows. Like can we move to the next song? Bad Idea, right?
Sure.
Because bitch,
Killer.
When this fucking came out,
Killer.
I'm trying not to be so obvious with this maybe being my favorite song on the album because it's
mine.
It's the second single that came out. But yo, the way that when I am out with my friends and I get that text and I get back in my little car and I start fucking blasting this song, I'm like, this 19-year-old girl fucking gets it.
Really does.
Okay,
We don't grow up.
After that a beautiful rant that you just said, I just want to put out like a disclaimer. white people, y'all gotta get back to making rock music, bro. Look at how important it is to people.
I beg.
It's fucking like stop rapping, bro.
Yeah.
Like
No more
we
SoundCloud.
don't need
We
like
should leave
we're
that.
okay.
we got it.
No more lo-fi.
No more lo-fi.
We got enough.
Fucking
No.
pick up a guitar.
Yeah.
And look at
What-
live.
Like
Yeah.
Fender is right down the street.
Yeah.
Guitar Center is right down the street. Pick one up. Mm-hmm. Pick one
Stratocaster.
up. Go
Be
in the
more like
garage.
Dave Grohl.
Yes.
I want to be a world traveler. I want to keep my brain sharp. Rosetta Stone has been the trusted expert with 30 years and millions of users and 25 languages offered. Y'all know I love traveling. I want to be able to get off the beaten path, order some delicious food. I got to be able to speak the language. That's why I love Rosetta Stone. They immerse you in so many ways. This is fast language acquisition. So you're not just getting these translations that you have to memorize, right? You learn to really speak, listen, and think in that language. They have this built-in true accent feature that has speech recognition. It's convenient and an amazing value. You're gonna get all 25 languages for life for 40% off the normal price. Don't put off learning that language. There's no better time than right now to get started. For a very limited time, our listeners can get Rosetta Stone's lifetime membership for 40% off. That's $179 for unlimited access to 25 language courses for the rest of your life. Redeem your 40% off at rosettastone.com/guilty today.
Be more like Dave Grohl.
And you know what's
A
crazy?
life motto.
When I first heard, for the very first time when I heard Bad Idea, I was not sure how I felt about the talk singing. Then I'm a car and I'm thinking I should stop, but I can't. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
At first, and then without even thinking about it, I was already going,
Yeah.
and I was like, fuck, this bitch
Yeah.
knows how to make something an earworm.
Oh,
something
yeah.
viral. If you listen to a lot of her runs, a lot of her melodies, they are perfect circles. She knows how to catch my ADHD, hook me, bring me right back to the start for the next verse, and I'm already obsessed. And
Yeah.
like when you do have ADHD, whoa, I'm getting too deep here. But like this album feels like a brain scratch. Like it's like
It's so good.
It's easily repeatable. The songs you can on pace understand the melodies and why she does certain runs, and it feels good in my body.
Give us a fucking
Yeah.
taste.
Yeah, let's see.
Brain scratch. I love that phrase.
Second song on the album, she says, "Hi, I'm a messy bitch."
And I'm all fucked up. Some undertones.
She's kind of doing the Julian Casablancas thing with her voice, where she's like talking through a voice box.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Talking through a voice
This
box.
part.
Have a mic on the other side of
Part,
a
I have
megaphone.
thoughts.
Right
Yeah,
here.
I have
yeah.
thoughts on this part.
I know we need to do commentary over it, but it's very hard
It's
because we
very
just
good.
want to listen.
It's just
My
a good-
commentary is that it's hard to do commentary
Yeah.
because we're just happy.
Seeing you tonight. It's
a bad idea, right?
It's so
It's
fun.
This is an anthem for being fucked up and drunk in your early 20s and making
Thank
bad
you.
decisions.
Yeah. That's what I was like thinking about. I was like, okay, this is a drunk thought. And I was
Fuck it,
like,
it's fine.
You're 20.
Yes, I know that.
You're
Yes,
not
I know that
leaving.
he's my ex, but can two people reconnect?
Biggest lie I ever said.
Yeah,
Like,
it's about
she
like running back to
knows.
your ex, falling into his bed after a night. Like, this is the worst mistake we've all made in our early 20s.
Yes.
Yeah.
And she is creating it as
No
an
shit,
anthem
stop.
that you can scream from your rooftop and say,
Okay.
you know what? I'm a fuck up
Listen
and that's
to this
okay.
part right
Yeah.
here. Wait.
I know what you're gonna say.
Yes.
I need to talk about it.
I need to talk about it. This
sound.
sound right here.
How dare she?
So what you're talking about that little
This, the stutter. It wasn't in the first part. It wasn't in the
It
first
wasn't in
loop.
the
The
first
first loop, it
one.
was not there. The second loop, it's like she creates
didn't
these
notice
moments
it.
and she just like drags you in, like you were saying. It really is a brain scratch. She just.
I could
That
not
was incredible.
understand
That was so
why
good.
Yeah.
I was so obsessed with this song. And then we talked about it when I'm like, when she says, I feel my, it just gets
It's
to your
good.
inner EDM girly too, where you're just like, I want some like,
It's also really good harmony. You
Yeah.
know, just
Yeah.
like just doing the octaves or whatnot. I don't know how to harmonize at all. I never know where to find that note or that pitch. Of course, you know how to do it because you fucking
We can do it
raised
right
on
now.
Yeah, ready?
I really don't. I'm just.
Anyway, it's very good. It's very good. I love a good harmony.
But we just keep going
Go,
next
the
song.
vampire.
Next song?
Let's
Next
talk about
song.
the
Next
first
song.
single.
Next song. There's,
This-
what's
This was like Wild as the first single to me because it's like so not indicative of the rest of the album. I was like, oh, an interesting
which
first
one?
single. I thought we were getting another Sour Vampire third song.
It was
gotcha.
giving
I
a
thought we
little
were getting
bit
another
driver's license.
It was very
Yeah.
driver's license. I'm like, oh, we're getting Sour again, and like I didn't
Yes.
love Sour, but I didn't hate Sour. Like, okay, sure. But first of all, Vampire is fantastic.
It's
also
great.
great.
Good
It's
song.
really good.
But I also
not indicative.
I'm done with it. Like I say
You're
I'm
over
done
it.
with it because like I've heard it 75 times
Yeah.
already, and I'm like,
Yeah.
good. Yeah, it's a great song. It's a fucking banger.
Yeah.
I think
She's
you're
so
doing
much
it
more
a
than
disservice.
this.
I think it's a breathtaking track.
It is really
It's
good.
beautiful.
It
really
is.
good.
It is really good.
It
It's
is.
really good.
It is. The lyricism is great, but the musicality and production of it, the way that it takes this hurt feeling and builds on it sonically as the song goes, I think is really Okay, can I actually? I was gonna say this before to bring it back to Dan one more time as a producer. What I think I was just last night, a little brag, hanging out with my buddy Yola, and
I love her.
She was
was at our
telling
table
me,
for your wedding.
yeah,
I met her at your wedding. It was great.
she was telling me about the recording process and like in different cities, what it is like going into a recording studio and really how easy it is to get disregarded as a songwriter, as a producer, as a talent, and just starting to hear the system that you have to fight through. And so the fact that Olivia was able to team up with someone who was able to recognize her talent and then protect her from the systems of the music industry, because it is it's brutal out here. The music industry takes especially young women, but young talent, chews them up, spits them out, commodifies them, and it seems like so far Olivia has been very cherished and protected and given this sanctum in which she can explore her sound, and I'm just fucking grateful.
I do feel like there is an outer shell of like bigger artists right now that can be forced into a pocket that everybody, like if we're looking at like the industry or whatever, they can glom onto them and be like, you have to be like this. They're just like, but then they look at Olivia Rodrigo and they're like, well, we'll give her a little bit more time or whatever. Let's just see what she's gonna do. And I feel like that is a nice, I always argue this, that's a nice place of fame to be.
Yeah.
To where you can always be a quiet surprise and kind of build out what you are. And then by the time people pay attention, they're like, well, this is what I am. You know, I'm 25. This is what you built me up to be. So why would I go on to your weird form of pop music or whatever?
No, she's separating herself.
She's
here.
separating herself.
Taking a
quickly.
different road.
Yeah.
You can't compare her to anyone else out right now. You can
Right
try
now.
and say she's poppy, and you
Right.
point to this album and go, where?
Yeah,
She's
True.
rock, baby.
true.
Yeah.
Can you give us maybe halfway through Vampire?
Oh yeah, give me those drums.
And is this one of the songs where you want to talk about who might this be about?
I do want to talk. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know, but I would love to know.
Even with the piano, it starts. You're like, oh, we're getting driver's license part 2, and he's like, no, I'm gonna build. I'm gonna build.
I really like that line where she says, you make the worst one look fine. You make the worst problem look fine. I'm like, this tells me that she's talking about a boy. I really feel like she's talking about a boy.
The way you sold me for parts.
I think people are saying it's about that guy she dated, Adam Faze.
Fozzie Boy.
Is he
There.
old? Because she
He's
also kind of
older.
implied that he like was older in the song.
Yes, and
Yeah.
that he doesn't age like a vampire, like giving Edward Cullen.
Oh, and then
Has
she was just
anything ever
speaking to
cut
everything.
deeper, by the way, than the insult of bloodsucker, fame
Fame
fucker?
fucker. Fame
That's-
fuckers.
Oh,
Especially
When
if you're a
she said
guy.
That hurts.
Ew.
Yeah.
Oh.
Because we
let's
don't
just-
expect
all right,
I'm like,
that.
oh,
from
she's
men.
getting deep here.
Rainie, pull up all of Olivia Rodrigo's past partners. Let's look
Also,
let's look
this-
up who they dated afterwards and see if they're famous.
Okay,
And
the
then-
man who this is supposedly
You don't
about.
actually have to do that. Rainie.
I'm like research project. Let's go. We gotta figure this out.
God.
On the case.
Where's the murder board? Let's put up the murder board. Who has yellow yarn, red yarn?
You tell me I'm wrong.
What's his name?
Here, he is giving vampire.
Yeah, what is his name?
It's a vampire.
Oh my
person.
god.
Oh wait, that's
Dark
not the one I was
features,
thinking.
I don't think this is the same guy that I Want
okay.
Him Back is about.
Okay.
Which, I changed my mind. That's my favorite song.
That one is Ballad of a High School or a
Homeschool
Homeschool
Girl.
Girl
Yeah, I like
is
that one a lot.
close to
Get
me.
Him Back is what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
This guy.
Who's that?
Oh.
That looks like the same dude with
Let me
longer
see.
hair.
This is an ugly man.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Zach Bia.
He has
Well,
a
don't
type.
say his name.
Can they not see the photo on your phone?
I don't know.
We need to talk about the next song because
What's the next one?
Next
It's
song.
one of my favorite.
No way we're making it through the entire album.
Wait, it's one of my favorite
no.
ballads.
Kelsey, I hate this one.
Leave the room.
This is the one.
Yeah, no,
Leave
this
This
is
is the one
this
that
is
I'm like,
absolutely the
why did
only
you-
skip on the album.
I said,
Are
I'm
you
definitely
out
skipping
of
it.
your fucking mind?
I was like,
Mashing
oh,
next.
that's a good 3-song run. And then I got to the fourth, and I was like, oh.
Okay, to be
all right.
fair, you're right. It's the first slow song on the
talking
album
about
that you
Lacey.
hit. And here's what's going to change your mind.
Okay, yeah. Talk.
Yeah,
People
good fucking
don't
luck.
like the whisper singing, but
that's exactly
I
what got me.
argue
I
that
don't
this
hate
is
it.
actually way more vocally of a presence and show of her voice. It's also giving a little bit like what's the chick's name?
Billie Eilish?
Not that one, the other one.
Billie Eilish?
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, okay.
Oh my God,
Eilish
Maggie
Billie.
Rogers. It's giving like a little bit more festival.
Next
indie
song.
No, hold on. The lyrics on this one, if you listen to them, and this is why I love this song. You think it's about a girl, right? You think it's about who is she
best
talking
friend,
about
yeah.
that I'm jealous of?
Kelsey.
It is.
Tell me about that.
It's a figment of her imagination that every girl is comparing themselves to another girl who is better than them. It's talking about a feeling that girls don't like to talk about, which is comparing themselves to someone that they're friends with. And you can be happy for them, but you're also incredibly jealous of them. And you fucking hate that you're jealous of them.
Yeah, that's what I thought you were talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not even a real person. It's a feeling.
Like, no, yeah, we got it.
Oh,
we
yeah,
don't like
yeah,
it.
no, I thought that's what I was talking about. But again, I'm like a person where the beat, the sound of the music has to get me before I can even start to care about the lyrics at all.
I
I'm not
think
a
you
lyric.
like it less because it's the first slow one after 3 bangers.
That really might be true.
It's not only because of
Hey,
the
Rainie,
first
you can
solo.
turn this off.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
so.
Rainie,
thank
cut
you.
that shit off. No,
If y'all
I
have
think
not
it's-
cried
it's
to
the
that song
first-
yet, you haven't lived.
Yeah, I think it's.
And I feel
it's-
sorry for y'all.
It's also a song that is too close to country, and we're like, I don't
It's a
want
little
that.
folksy.
It's a little folksy, and I'm like,
It's a
not what I
little like
wanted.
Lana, Florence.
And
It's a
I
little.
don't like Alana.
Yeah.
She's got.
Alana, not Alana, but
I think y'all are. You want her to just be the rock punk
Kelsey,
early on
I'm
this.
so happy for you, and I have nothing to say.
You need to take Olivia at her Lacey's if you're gonna love her at her bad ideas.
You don't have an
I
Olivia
didn't
phone
even-
case.
I have a hat. Okay,
Fair. I'm wearing
the
Chuck
merch.
People have bought
Chance.
merch.
We've paid.
I paid to be here.
All right, go to Ballad of Homeschooled Girl, you freak.
This one
Right.
eats.
So like at the end of the album, I immediately thought, oh, this is a fun thing to see live in general. This is
Oh my God.
Oh, we're going, yes?
100%.
Oh, I can't
live.
fucking
I'm so
wait.
I will.
Yeah.
I will.
By the way,
I
I'll
will
never
drop
forgive
any coin. I
Olivia.
will
Yeah.
clear my
Like,
schedule. work
absolutely.
I'll
on
never
it.
forgive her for her first little tour because she was playing these tiny little venues, which I get. She's like, I have to earn the big ones. I'm like, yeah, but also I can't fit.
Yeah, yeah.
There's not enough seats for
Not
me,
enough.
and
Yeah.
I've got a lot of strings that I'm able to pull. Couldn't pull that one.
Wow.
There's the one show that I couldn't fucking pull in favors for and get a ticket to, and I thought about like flying to St. Louis.
Ah!
That is how.
Oh, you were serious.
That's
Oh,
how
you-
hungry I was.
Yeah.
Well, I wasn't that serious because I didn't do it.
Right.
Yeah, of
But
course.
and
Even
now
the
this tour,
consideration.
she's starting in Palm Springs, going
wait,
on
she's
a
going on
whole
tour? Is it-
world tour, ending in LA.
Wow.
We gotta wait till the whole end, unless we're gonna drive
We
into
can
the
go to
desert.
Palm
Oh,
Springs. Yeah,
no,
that's
no,
fine.
no,
Where's
no,
that?
Palm Springs
Yeah.
is not a
September
bad drive.
17th.
Little
Tickets go
September
on sale.
17th? Wait, what?
That's this weekend, right?
It's already happening?
It goes on sale and then.
Oh, it goes on sale. Okay. I have to buy them for me and my niece. She's also obsessed.
I have to
She's
register
11.
for the Amex early access. I'm glad we talked about this.
Great.
Gang, we're going to Palm
Going to
Springs.
Palm Springs.
Let's hit All American, whatever it is. What is this? Ballad of a
Ballad of
Teenage.
a-
Of a
Homeschooled
homeschooled
girl.
girl.
And it's not a ballad at all, which I love.
No.
Look, this whole album,
giving-
when Olivia's at her height, it is teen rom com. It is
opening.
10 Things I Hate About
Yes.
You.
Absolutely.
Half of this
John Tucker
album,
Must
Freaky
Die.
Friday.
Freaky Friday.
Yeah.
It
Yes.
is Letters from Cleo doing the Josie and the
kids
Pussy Girls
driving
soundtrack.
into
Yeah.
the school parking lot.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're
And they have
all
like a
congregating.
Volkswagen, like a bright blue
Yes.
Volkswagen or like a Jeep or
Cinderella
something. And there's so many of
story.
I'm
them.
texting you on my sidekick.
Yeah.
Yes.
Love it.
I'm going to work at the diner and serve milkshakes after school.
Yeah.
Exactly.
This is definitely a hot dog on the stick type of like
Yes.
this is my summer job
Teenage
opening.
boy.
It's a montage that establishes all the cliques in school, and like you see people walking really fast, then it slows down to
And
show
she's-
like the punks really fast, the nerds
yeah.
really
The Mean
fast,
Girls
the
montage.
rejects.
Yeah.
Ugh,
I love the lyrical content of this one too. This one's about like
It's so
being like so cringe as every young person feels. Every time I step outside, I do something
Yes.
cringy and I fucking hate myself.
Dude, and I love that
vibe.
she takes a chance at saying something really unpopular here.
she does.
Because there's something naughty feeling about screaming
I
suicide.
thought she took a couple risks on this album in
Yes.
general. I was like, that's one of them. Like,
was
I'm like,
like,
it's social
okay.
suicide. Okay, can we say that?
I
I'm
could have seen
okay.
like producers being like, we can't,
Right.
we're not doing that.
Especially for her
Teenage
age group.
girls.
Yeah, but I mean, I like it.
I love it.
I love a risky girl.
Yes.
But I mean, Billie Eilish made a whole album
That's
about
fair.
her killing
But
herself.
Billie does not give a fuck.
different person.
No, Olivia does not give like Billie's level
She
of don't
doesn't.
give a fuck at all.
Yeah, no. Olivia's
No.
on like Lexapro, and like Billie Eilish has gotten off all SSRIs and is now trying to do
Yeah,
ayahuasca
yeah.
to
Yeah.
cure her trauma.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
they're on different levels of mental health. You know what I'm saying?
That's
Yeah.
very fair.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. I think they're both sober. I don't know.
I mean,
Oh,
they're
no,
both
they're,
great.
they're great.
Yeah,
They're
no,
fantastic
sober or not,
artists.
they're both
It's just
great.
that one is a lot more like I'm ready to go.
yeah,
Yeah,
I've
Yeah,
lived.
fair.
I'm done.
I think
Yeah,
Billie
yeah, I'm
might.
done.
Yeah, Billie might
done.
fight you.
I get that.
I remember
get
finishing
it.
that
I was
album. I was like, "You're
also
18.
just thinking, Bill- you
Why
know-
are you this sad?
Yeah.
What
Well,
happened?
The
to you?
difference is Olivia sang vampire, Billy will just bite your
We'll
leg.
bite you.
Definitely bite you.
We'll
Yes,
bite you. Yeah.
absolutely. Yep.
She's a gnawer.
Yeah.
I really don't think we have time to do the entire album unless we're gonna speed run it.
Oh my
Yeah.
God. Okay. Making the Bed is gorgeous. I
I love the
cried the
song.
first time I
That's
heard
great.
it.
That's a really good song.
It's
But that's
about
another
her being the
slow
one
one
that,
that I was like, oh, this is great. It's because
like
it
it.
stays away from folk music.
Yeah.
It's just unfortunate.
Yeah. Don't
I
mind that one.
do like the messaging behind it.
What is the
It's-
messaging? 'Cause I just liked it.
It's she's who's making her own bed and she has to lay in
She
it.
hates all her friends
She's-
and her other friends, and
not
like nobody's
doing
around her.
anything
She
to change it.
pushes everybody away who loves her.
But it's her.
And
she's not
she's doing that.
complaining anymore.
Yeah.
She's going, no, I recognize this is my own fault.
Yeah.
So
Right.
I usually, when I listen to songs, I don't hear the words. And I would say something that is a testament to Olivia is that for a lot of the songs, I actually did hear the messages and the words on the first listen. But in Making the Bed, I was like, I should start having better habits and make my bed.
That is so funny. That is so
It's not
funny.
even about
I was
like
yeah,
your
I'm
own
growing
choices.
up. I see
Yeah.
how you arrived there. Fair.
Next, we are
Logical.
at
Logical.
Logical, which is not, this is my Lacey.
Okay.
It's fine.
It's fine.
It's also
fine.
fine. Yeah.
I think
But
it's
it
a
needs-
word that just,
You
she
need.
clung to it too
Oh,
deeply.
I think logical is the one that's after it's after make.
It's after Making the Bed.
Yeah, so it's like it's double slow song,
Yeah.
and that's why I'm like, okay. Before it was like, let's get 3 bangers, slow song, 2 bangers, slow song. Now it's like 2 slow songs back to back. And so when listening to Logical, I didn't like it until like towards the end of it. I was like, oh, that breakdown towards the end was fun. But everything else, I was like, yeah,
it
cool.
felt like a little bit of a forced word puzzle for me. Like it just felt like she clung to this one word of logical and wanted to make a song out of it. And I was
Yeah.
like, girl, no one's forcing you to do
Right.
this.
Yeah,
you don't
yeah,
have
yeah.
to.
I imagine some of these will grow on me more over time, but I would say that not all the slow songs are made equal. And the
Definitely not.
deficiencies in some of them
Yeah.
show you just how exemplary and fantastic
Yeah.
the other ones are
We-
when
I
you
agree.
compare them.
Yep.
Me and Sequoia were talking about this about a different artist about listening to stuff loud, right? Where like definitely some of those songs, some of those ballads are as far as like them growing, or some of those slower songs as far as them growing on you. I definitely want to listen to them live so that I can be like, okay, well, what is she actually
Intending for us to
intending us
get.
to hear?
Yeah.
Through her performance or through like the guitar's performance or whatever, because there's a lot of stuff that you'll miss just listening to it in the car sonically. So hearing it live, I'm excited to just hear all of the things that I didn't like as much just perform, just to see like let's see what she actually wanted in the first place.
Yeah.
I'm skipping ahead a couple songs, but
No, we're about to get him back.
Getting back
oh,
is
you're
the
right.
one.
I'm so sorry. I
Yeah.
will
That's
do no
the
such
best
thing.
one.
That's a one.
I think this is my favorite one on the album because it describes a feeling that every fucking girl knows.
So in
you
the middle.
Want
It's
him,
like,
you want to have sex with him, you want to be kissing him, but you also want him to be jealous.
Yeah.
And not.
I also want to hurt him, but
You want to
also
hurt
like,
him. You want to meet his
I
mom
want to
just to
continue
tell
being hurt
him
by
her son
him though, because I
sucks.
know that he's gonna do it, but I love him.
He's
but I wanna
got
hurt him.
that
I'm
good
actually
dick,
pretty
but
upset
she's
that y'all are
pissed.
saying that. Oh, this is what every teenage girl
Yes.
does. That's what dudes do too. Like we all do that shit. That's why there's no like meeting in the middle, because we're all not talking about the fact that we're trying to do the exact same
Wait,
thing.
so you want a girl to like you, but you also hate her a little?
For sure. At 19, 18, yes, yeah.
That is wild to me.
Oh.
The way it starts
on that sharp note.
Is this the one where like the little words underneath are like, is this the one with the drums?
Yeah.
It starts off like that. It
Yeah.
says, is this the one with the drums? And if the
That's-
drums
I
hit,
wanna
the drums.
get up back.
It's
It
very-
becomes an anthem, a crowd
Yeah.
It's a stadium
festival.
song.
The fuzz
yelling.
on the guitar is very Sex Bomb from
Oh, yeah.
fucking Scott Pilgrim. So
Oh,
it's
give
just-
it to me.
It's in there.
You
Yeah,
know I want
love it.
this.
I love it.
I love this
I love
sound.
it, yeah. It's a return to form. I
It
think that
really
everybody
is.
should fucking get back onto this. I hope that this blows up so that there are a lot of copycats or a lot of people just
The
getting
lane
back
was
into it.
wide open.
The lane was
The
so
lane was
open.
wide
What are y'all
open.
doing?
What were y'all
Why did
doing?
we? Okay, so there's always. I'm sorry, just really quick. In Europe, there is this wave of like, I'm going to sing as jazzily as humanly possible,
Yeah,
and as
it's
R&B
Amy
as humanly
Winehouse.
possible.
Yeah.
Amy Winehouse,
Adele.
Adele, all of them, because they saw American music and absorbed it, and then they're like, why the fuck did y'all move past
Yeah.
this?
Right, what are y'all doing?
What are you doing?
This era wasn't done.
Yeah, and I feel like she's definitely on that wave of like, no, wait,
We're not done
we went
with
too
emo.
far. We went too far.
She's like,
Screamers.
We strayed too far from
You're on
God's light.
SoundCloud.
Like, we need to come back
Yeah.
to rock music. There was an entire lane open that I really love that she's taking advantage
You're
of.
so right too that like in this version of rock, which I don't recall from like our fun emo teenage girl eras from like boy bands, like our Taking Back Sundays, our Fall Out Boys, is almost the electric guitar and the drums in this entire album are characters. They have moments where they're going, wah, wah,
Yeah,
or like,
yeah.
wah, 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 wah,
Yeah.
where the drums fucking go from just a beat
Yeah.
to a
Right.
fucking whole moment
Yeah.
where you're
That's-
like, oh my God, this is so
Yeah.
fun.
That's
It's so
what
fun.
live shit was. Like
Yeah.
whenever they were just in the studio all together, jamming on the guitar or whatever, everybody had their moment in the spotlight
Yes.
to just kind of,
Like
that's where
jazz.
guitar solos
Yeah.
came from. That's where drum solos came from. Like you would just get like random drum fills and you'd be like, oh fuck, that is sick. That this person did that. You should do that again. Do it several times. And I think it's lost on us when we go to like, oh, I'm just gonna add a guitar on this track or add just digital in general. It feels like a live album rather than I'm just going
Yes.
to add in
it does feel
it
like
does.
a live album.
different different tracks.
Feels like a
overlaid.
soundtrack. Like this
Yeah.
is definitely just a straight through soundtrack.
I really
get
wonder
it.
if
I
like
get it.
Olivia just opened up her journal, her diary, and it was like, I want to meet his mom and tell her he sucks.
Yeah.
And someone was like, that's fire. That,
Yeah.
There it
Right
is.
there.
We're
Yeah,
doing
that's
that.
fire.
That's a song.
We got it.
It's
Pull that out.
so good.
Yeah.
There's so many insults in this that I like. These are the insults that you wish you had in the moment.
Yeah.
He says he's 6'2". Nice try.
Nice try, dude. Yeah.
Careful.
Like 6'2" is very tall.
It's so
Tall.
specific.
You can't lie about that.
I would
type
also like to
of
point
stuff.
out that girls know
Yeah.
every fucking time. If you are lying by 1 inch, I'm going to know it. I promise.
I'm looking
you.
at the fuzz
I
of your hair.
guarantee it.
I'm looking at the shoe lift.
I can estimate a height so well.
so far
Also
away.
support short kings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, yeah, totally fine.
Just
Just
say
don't
your
lie.
height.
Just don't lie.
Just
All
say
right,
it.
say your height.
Just say
It's
it.
fine.
Yeah. Speaking of cracking open her diary and saying that's fire lines, I think "Love Is Embarrassing" is my favorite
That's a
song
good
title
title.
Definitely a title.
That's a
of
good
the
title.
whole album. Because like
She knows what the fuck she's doing.
is that
okay,
not a
she-
a comedian's line?
Oh,
That's a stand-up line. Just
abso-fucking-lutely.
going off about love and then being
There
like,
was-
God, love is so
A bing, bing,
embarrassing.
bing, bing,
There-
bing,
yeah.
bing, bing,
Yeah.
bing, bing.
It
What
is
is embarrassing?
Yeah. There was I don't know what episode I had said it on, but I said love is responsibility, and I think that that's very like on that line. So it's just
You
comic
were
brain type
almost
shit.
Olivia Good.
I was
So
almost
close.
Olivia Good.
Yeah.
I was so close.
Yeah.
But yeah, Love is Embarrassing is, like if you're thinking about the whole cringe era that Gen Z is bringing in, of course they would think that love is embarrassing.
It's so true. There's like a whole movement on the internet that you don't show your boyfriend until you are married. because of the
funny.
notion that love is embarrassing.
It's funny.
Like I have
Yeah.
multiple friends who are in full years-long relationship. The internet never has
Zach
a
did
slight
that once.
idea. But you had a very,
I'm doing it
legitimate
right
reason.
now.
Everybody's watching.
I saw a TikTok of it was this couple showing off the love surge.
Oh my God!
You know this shit?
The
Do you know
love
this
surge.
shit?
I did. Did you see the TikTok after though of her crying and how everybody's been so
No.
fucking mean about it?
See, I don't
What's
think-
the love?
I
surge?
love that
almost showed it to you.
she
but
knows
I
it's
really,
cringe, so you
guys,
can't make fun of her.
I planned on setting my camera up and doing this to Garrick, like doing the love search just to get his reaction because he was gonna fucking hate it. He was gonna hate it
He
so
hated it
bad.
much. He would be
What?
like, "Why are you touching me?"
Right.
Okay, I'm
No,
sorry
she
to
says-
hear that she's gotten a lot of bullying.
She did get a lot of
that
bullying for it.
Do you want to see the most cringy thing
Right.
about being
She
in
sets it up.
love? She knows.
And it's like one of us will get the love surge, and it's this her boyfriend behind him is like, yeah, give it to me. And
Like, I just wanna hug you
he
and cuddle you.
hugs her from behind and fucking just vibrates until they're both jumping up and down. And Maggie showed this to me.
The love
and I went,
He's having a love search.
Love
Like
surge.
in his
He just
body,
needs
the
to,
love
like,
is so strong for
fucking
her at the
shake.
moment that
It's
he
the
needs to,
zoomies
like,
of being in
hug her
love.
and like get it out.
You
And,
know
like,
when you're so fucking just like enamored by your person, you just like stand on top of them and you start kissing them and you're like, I fucking love you, you dumb cunt.
It's like how you feel
That's
about
the
your
love
pet.
surge.
You know, like
when you call
your
Sequoia a
cat's
dumb
so
cunt,
cute.
you know that moment.
Yeah, obviously. All the time.
naturally.
I do that
Yeah,
all the time.
Love is embarrassing.
Pretty
I love
isn't
this
pretty.
next song.
What
Pretty
is
isn't pretty.
Pretty isn't pretty.
Oh yeah, that's like
It's
such a
very-
good teenage
It's the Barbie
way to
message.
address like
It is-
the Instagramness of the world now. The fact that everybody is
Yeah.
filtered, filled.
It is very
Botox.
pretty. The lyrics are very nice. I love it. It's great.
The Barbie message.
It does sound like 1979 by Smashing Pumpkins.
Maybe that's why I so fucked with this hard.
Yeah,
Can you
yeah,
give us a
yeah.
snippet? For whatever reason, this song, it's not my favorite song on the album. Wow, you're so right. It was the first song I heard where I'm like, oh, Olivia's gonna be okay. And what I mean by that, I was nervous of like, what if we get tired of this
See,
sound?
to me, I'm like,
Could you
this
play
doesn't sound
1979?
like the rock punk. Like it's giving like an indie.
No, this is different.
It's different. It's a
90s
different song. It
band.
just
song.
reminds, yeah.
Yeah.
It gave me a comfort of like, oh, there's
Yeah.
more here.
Yeah.
And
it felt like Lords of Dogtown type music, which I
Yes.
always fuck with. It just reminds me of of high school.
Yeah.
1979 by Smashing Pumpkins.
Oh yeah.
It's the opening of
It's
a
the
movie
opening, yeah.
in the third act when she's lost
If
it
you-
all.
If you
She has
put
to go apologize.
if you put his vocals over Pretty Isn't Pretty, it's still like you could sing the same song.
Look
which
at
is cool.
that.
The final song of the album, Teenage Dream,
One of the
which
best
I keep saying
ballads.
this, might be my favorite song on the album.
Oh, sick.
I love this song and I love the lyrics of the song. It hit me hard. Even though it's not about me. But it's when am I gonna stop being wise beyond my years and just start being wise?
Yeah.
When am I gonna stop being pretty young thing to guys?
Hey,
It
guys.
is this fear of growing up, but more so, it's this fear of the way that society commodifies young women and says your worth expires.
Yeah.
And there is just a tremendous maturity in that understanding and the fear that she is expressing. And it's obviously like about her fear as an artist. Whatever. I think
Yeah.
she has
Yeah.
one line,
It's
also
also-
I've already given my best.
Yes.
Yeah, it's
Peaking
also
early.
like it's a fear and a hope. All of the lines can be seen as such, where it's like, oh no, I'm growing up too quickly, or also, when is this going to happen for me? I want to be wise. I want to be pretty, or not just pretty young thing anymore. I want
Right.
to grow up and all that stuff. All that angst or like anger about like being patted on the head and patronized and whatnot, or expiration.
And she literally, this is the last song on the album. She wrote this when she was 19. She's 20 now. She was literally saying goodbye to teenager
Wow.
Olivia Rodrigo. She even talks about like the birthday candles on the cake. Happy birthday
Yeah.
to me. You got your whole life ahead of you, but you're only 19. But she's saying, but I fear that they've already got the best parts of me, and I'm sorry that I couldn't always be your teenager. So she's saying goodbye
Yeah.
to the audience that has
Yeah.
idolized her
Yeah.
as a teenage pop
yeah.
sensation.
That's wild.
She's saying, I'm sorry. I literally just am getting older.
I'm 20 now.
I'm
Yeah.
20.
I think she's like setting up to
I'm
be like,
washed
my
up.
next album really might not sound like this guy. So
Yes.
please,
Yeah.
like, don't be mad.
yes.
But within that couplet of lines too, right? I feel they already got the best parts of me. I'm sorry I couldn't always be your teenage dream. Right. That is about an artist. That's just women.
Yeah.
That is we
Yeah.
want
Zach saying the most profound thing of the podcast.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
I mean, maybe I shouldn't mansplain what it
No.
means to go.
It's
Make it
wild
better.
to me that
Make
like
it better.
she's feeling this way at 19.
Yeah.
Again, and this is getting personal, but at 29, I just started to get here where I'm like, is this happening to me right now?
Yes.
So like, it's really disheartening to hear that someone 10 years younger than me
Is going through it.
is feeling similar.
But you know what? The way I like rationalize it in my head is like, we had these big emotions, right? Like, didn't my therapist ask me this the other day? She was like, what's the worst thing that's ever happened to you? And I went through like 5 different scenarios and I was like, well, it's all subjective, right? When I was 16 and my high school boyfriend and I broke up, I could tell you that was the worst I've ever
Devastating,
felt.
right?
Is it the worst thing that's ever happened to me now that I'm
No.
33? Fuck no, obviously. But in those big feelings,
Definitely.
that was the fucking worst
It's so
thing
true.
that
and
had
the
ever happened
first
to me.
time things happen to you,
And she has a way of packaging those big feelings
Yeah.
and making them relevant to anyone. We're
Yeah.
all transported back to that. Like you said, like the 20 or the teenager and the 33-year-old, right?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like I'm forever a teen when listening to her because she just has a way of taking big emotions and making them grown as fuck.
I looked up Katy Perry's Teenage Dream she released when she was 26. And it's like the lyrics are, we can be young forever.
Yeah.
You make me feel like I'm living a teenage dream. It's like our music, our pop culture, and again, especially the way that we portray value of women, it is all about youth is good, age is bad. If
Definitely.
we can feel like we're teenagers, that is positive. Age is negative, and I think this song kind of stands as a beautiful antidote to that message, which is a very pernicious and bad message.
yeah.
I feel like in art right now, in general, it's very pessimistic. Everybody's just like, I don't want to be here. This fucking sucks. Blah 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 blah. I'm trying to get out of whatever era this is. And so like her crossing over into not being a teenager anymore, she's not valuing, that she's valuing the experiences that she has yet to experience and all of that. And I think that that's just indicative of where we are as a culture.
It's a great fucking album. I'm not
really
ready to
is.
say which one I like more. It's too fresh for me, but she stuck the landing.
Yeah.
This is
She really did.
this is a really dumb man comparison to make, but this Olivia Rodrigo is a freshman quarterback that just came into the NFL and is playing like a fucking pro. I don't know if anybody.
Johnny Football.
Yeah.
is who that
It's just
is.
like, who is this new
The
guy? He is
freshman who
fucking
is inducted
composed.
into the
He just
Heisman
got
Hall of
here.
Fame. Yeah.
This is all about Jordan Love on the Packers, but it doesn't matter. But like, yeah, it's just really cool to watch someone handle themselves well beyond their years. I don't want to say that she's wise beyond her years because she doesn't like to hear
doesn't
that.
want that.
Apparently,
Good.
She doesn't
She
She
said
told us
that. She
explicitly.
said that.
doesn't want that, but it is very cool to just watch someone be this observant in general.
Yeah.
And be this like self-reflective and put it out there and be vulnerable about it.
Can we talk for a moment? I'm curious why we think Olivia has such a chokehold on millennials. Because
On millennials?
What do you mean? Did you not
Or
just
on Gen
hear
Z?
the last?
She has just like that teen.
She's
Good.
giving
Like,
us the
she's giving us
emo
exactly-
girl that
Yeah.
we never had. We had
The
Fall Out
lane
Boy.
was
We had the
open
guys.
for 10
Yeah.
years.
Yeah.
Like it's been open for so long.
We had
Nobody
Haley,
still, and we're like,
and that was it. That was our emo queen.
it's
Yeah.
like they were telling us we were too old. We need to move on. And Olivia's like, actually, I'm going to
gonna
give
give
you
it to
exactly
you.
what you want.
It's cool.
It's like, thank you. I appreciate that.
We
Also,
never had her.
last thing I want to say, get him back. I forgot to mention this. Reminds me of Kesha because she's rapping. That is a rapstress. Kesha too was a rapstress when she first came out,
That's true.
and that's exactly what's going on there.
It's
which
giving
means the
talking.
Olivia times Pitbull collab is coming.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah,
God, I
Mr.
would-
Worldwide
I would
definitely
vomit.
on the way.
I really hope she never does a feature ever in her life.
Oh my god.
I feel like on her albums, I mean, like
You're kinda right.
She should go all hits, no features.
Unless
like
it's
J.
something
Cole.
insane.
Yeah.
Right? Like fucking
Like Haley
Jay-Z featuring.
It makes sense.
Olivia.
No, I don't want
That's
that.
Wanna
something
get
in-
him back. Kendrick Lamar.
like something
I
wild.
mean,
Kendrick
Kendrick
never
did
do
do
a
like a
feature.
collab with Taylor. I remember
There you
that.
go.
So it's not
Yeah.
That was interesting.
far off.
But I really just don't want her to have features. I'm here for you for the
There would be
first sign.
nothing sadder if in the middle of this teen angst anthem you just heard "Young Gravy."
Yeah, I'm like,
I'm
All
so
right,
sorry.
the worst.
Not Young Gravy, please.
oh god.
Can we? Do we have to even say if this is a guilty pleasure or guilty pleasure?
Oh,
is not
it's
guilty?
a pleasure.
Yeah.
all
It's
not
the
even
way
guilty. Yeah,
around.
nothing guilty
Yeah.
about
That's
it.
good.
I want to say that I saw a tweet that said that Olivia adults are the new Disney adults, and I felt very called out.
Oh, I'm
Fucking-
feeling so attacked by that.
and I'm
I will
attacked, and
take
I'm just
it.
going to ignore it.
All right,
Yeah.
this is a full guilt. I hate it.
It's so good.
That no, you know who wrote that? A Disney adult.
A Disney adult.
Definitely. Don't
Yeah.
try to pull us
Disney
into your
adult.
stuff,
yeah.
girly.
Don't
Okay.
fucking
I'm
make
not
us
going
weird,
to a
like,
fucking
you're all
Olivia
there.
land
Yeah.
every weekend.
No,
I'm not.
You
We're not
cornball.
dressing up, fucking living
Yeah.
our identities.
Now, maybe
through.
I will be. Oh my God, maybe I'll be Olivia for Halloween. I don't know. Maybe
Also,
I'm gonna
Petra
Olivia.
Collins was the director for and creative director for so many of her music videos, and they're fucking sick and insane. And everyone should go look at Petra Collins.
Yeah, her music videos are great. I want more high concept photo shoots. That's my challenge for the next album.
I like it. Yeah.
She's busy, dude.
She's got stuff to do.
I don't know how to wrap this up. I'm just happy. Should we just go scream? Do you guys just want to scream together?
Yeah.
Hey, everyone, if you're driving in your car, I think this is an invitation.
Yes.
Just scream.
Yeah,
To
scream.
scream with us to get your angst. No, we're going to do it
Wait,
together.
we gotta say where to find ourselves.
Okay, cool. Yeah,
Okay.
We'll end with a
Oh.
scream, with a primal scream. Do you want it to be like a or like a like how? What kind of are we going?
Like
feral?
an emo. Yeah.
Okay, great.
Headphone use.
Like a guttural.
Sequoia, it's always a pleasure to have you. Thank you
Yeah,
for
thanks
joining.
for-
Thank you for having
It was nice to have
me.
someone who gets it.
Yeah.
Thanks.
It really was.
Thanks. Yeah, as the person who gets it.
I
Thank
feel
you. Thank you.
so complete. over here.
Your podcast is fantastic. Where can people find
Thank
you?
you. You can find my podcast if you look up Black People Love Paramore across any streaming and on YouTube. And you can find me on social at Sequoia B. Holmes.
Yes, you can.
And just to be clear, she has an episode with the one and only Haley Williams.
Of Paramore.
Uh-huh.
Of your namesake
do.
podcast.
Also, I love telling this story. When she found out that Haley Williams was coming on the podcast, she just kind of walked around the apartment. And it's like, I don't know how to feel about this. It was like the scene on Talladega Nights when when Ricky Bobby's getting interviewed and his hands kept coming into the screen. It's like, I don't know what to do with my hands. I don't know. It was very adorable.
That's huge.
I was fucking immediately terrified.
Yeah.
That was the whole
Aw,
thing.
but
I
you
was just
fucking
like-
crushed it, and it was epic, and the clips are viral as fuck. And how amazing to get her to come and sit down and talk. Wow,
Hell
should be so
yeah.
proud.
And Olivia, if you ever want to come hang, let us know.
Yeah.
Talk about walking around with our hands up in the air.
I'm at Corn Day and all the
I'm
things.
Kelsey Darragh and all the things.
I'm Garrick Bernard on all the things.
Okay, you ready, motherfuckers?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And until next time.